Yo dudes! Welcome. This is one of my favourite all-time recipes. It's a recipe from our new book, Recipes for Happiness. Woo! Thanks to anyone who's bought it. So this is traditional Korean kimchi. Kimchi originally obviously comes from Korea. Good one. A little spiel about it. I got a story about this. Okay, so Korean women, this was a study which I read recently, which Nick was telling me about, that Korean women by 2020 the average Korean woman will be living to 90 years of age. So they're going to have the longest longevity of any women in the world. And one of the factors they're saying that is accountable for this is fermented foods, such as kimchi. Yeah. So kimchi, fermented cabbage, traditionally based on a spice known as gochugaru, which is dried Korean chili pepper. So first thing you're gonna need is 1 kilo of Chinese leaf, we call it this side of the world. Okay, Steve, if I can't find Chinese leaf, what else could I use? This is also known as Napa cabbage. That's okay, Napa cabbage. And if you can't find either, you could use pak choy, and if you can't find either, just use cabbage or good old cabochta. Yeah, cabochta is Irish for cabbage. But Napa or Chinese leaf is more traditional. So you're gonna take a kilo of it. Chop the end off it. Are we all right? Yeah, we're all right. Yeah. So take a kilo of it, down the middle a couple of times, and chop. Okay, that's a kilo of cabbage. We're going to give it a drain and a rinse just to remove, because often inside the leaf there's lots of little soil and sand or sediments. Yeah. Okay, so this is quite an important step. What we're going to do is we're going to salt the cabbage. It's going to release a lot of its moisture and it's almost going to like cook it. We're going to add the salt at the start and you might go, oh my God, it's so much salt. So we've got 60 grams of salt, which is a huge amount. We're going to add it here, but don't worry, it's all going to be washed off and rinsed off. And it's going to help break down the cell walls of the cabbage. Take my hands. So the salt has two functions, as Dave said. One, to help break it down and release moisture, and the second one is to kill bacteria, which we don't want, like kind of bad during the fermentation process. So what I'm doing here is I'm really massaging it. You know, think Thai massage, think what other type is it? Reflexology, whatever. Just really get in there and give that a massage for a couple of minutes. I'm going to leave that sit for half an hour, come back, massage it again, leave it sit for another half hour, massage it one final time. So while that's resting, it's time to make our rice porridge. So you might go, rice porridge, what's the story? You're gonna need rice flour. If you don't have rice flour, normal flour will do, just use white flour. And the reason why rice flour is it's gluten-free. And just it's more what's traditionally used. Yeah. So I've got 160 ml of water. I'm just gonna add it to a pot on a high heat. I have a sieve, because we don't want this to clump. I'm gonna add in 25 grams of rice flour. So it's approximately two decent tablespoons. Just in it goes. There we are. And we're literally just going to keep stirring that until it comes together into a thick porridge. Yep. Very simple. So it's on a high heat. Okay, now that the porridge is done, our rice porridge, I'm putting in half a teaspoon of maple syrup into our porridge. Just going to give it a nicer flavour, really. Yep. So if you don't have maple syrup, just use any sweetener of choice. Okay, so next step we're going to prep. In a traditional kimchi, there's all sorts of different veg in it. So we've got normally scallions, carrot, and daikon radish. If you don't have daikon radish, just use equal part carrot. Just replace with it. So I have a bunch of scallions, also known as spring onions. Okay, and I've got a carrot. I'm gonna use 2 carrots because we couldn't find the daikon. So I'm just gonna literally grate the carrot. So just pop your carrot and scallion into a bowl and just leave that to one side. Now time to make our chili paste. So there's a few different components to this, but it's so good, it really is. It's one of my favorite things ever to eat. Okay, half a white onion, just in that goes. I've got 5 to 6 cloves of garlic, depending on the size of them, and I've got a decent thumb-sized piece of ginger. Now time to add a bit of flavour. So in a traditional kimchi, normally there's fish sauce used, which has a strong umami flavour. We're going to use tamari. We're going to put in 4 tablespoons or 60 ml. So the tamari gives the umami flavour, and then to replace the fish sauce, we're going with just ground dried seaweed. So I've got a half teaspoon of, we're putting arame, you can put in kelp, whatever you have. Next up, we're going to add in our gochugaru, which is our Korean chili pepper. If you can't get it, you'll be able to get it online or any Asian supermarket. If you cannot find it, just replace with equal part chili and sweet paprika. So I'm going to put in 10 grams. So if I didn't have this, I just add in 5 grams of chili and 5 grams of sweet paprika. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, perfect. Cool. Okay, great. Cool, wow. 10 grams. And gochugaru has a nice kind of spice to it. So we're going to blend this into a paste in the blender. So the paste is super strong off this. Even go near it, like it's nearly making me cry. I feel like crying. So this is our Chinese leaf after being sat for an hour and a half and massaged 3 times. You'll see the volume has reduced significantly. It's lost that kind of hard crunchiness, and it's also secreted quite a bit of water. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to give it a good rinse in the colander. Pop it in. And last thing I'm going to do is just rinse the salt. So just give it a good rinse. Now it's time to put it all together. This is the bit where it all happens. It's exciting. So let's take our Chinese leaf into our big bowl. Okay, we got our carrot and scallions, grated carrot and our scallions. Chili paste goes in on top of our rice porridge. So just mix all the rice porridge and the chili paste all together. Woo! That's going to be hopping full of flavour. Okay, and this flavour, instant flavour, just gets added right to everything else. Next step, take your hands and just in it goes. Give it a really good mix. What you're trying to ensure is that each leaf and every little bit of the carrot and the scallion just gets covered in that chili paste flavour magicness. So final step, I've got a sterilised Kilner jar. I just bought it and gave it a good rinse and boiled it. In it goes. And we literally fill up the jar and we leave it sit for 3 to 5 days. And so just compact it right down. We're going to close the lid on it ever so slightly. Leave a little bit just so the bit of air can get in. If you do live in a warm country, put a bit of cheesecloth over. You're going to leave it sit at room temperature for 3 to 5 days. If you do live in a warm country, probably 3 days. If you live in a more colder country, 5 days, even a little week. Because as it ferments, it's going to develop more acidity and it's going to almost reach a stage where it's almost fizzy. You want it where it's slightly less on the fizzy side. Then literally you're going to close it. This is 5 days later. I'm going to put it in the fridge and it's good to go. And dun dun dun! Here's what we did earlier. And the great thing about kimchi is it probably lasts more than a year. You know, it really lasts yonks. Yeah. But the reality is you should be eating it long before. You know, you'll really enjoy it. You'll enjoy it with everything. And the thing about kimchi is it's so good for your digestion. It's full of so many different bacteria. Oh, and as it sits, it's going to release more moisture. It's going to relax. Its flavors are going to come together, and it's going to develop that acidity, which kimchi normally is spicy, acidic, and just like all round magnificent. Yeah, it makes everything taste good. Okay, I'm double dipping, but this is just mine here. Wow, a lot of flavor. Wow, yeah. Ooh. Great for your digestion, for your immune system, for so many good bits in your body. So, dudes, this is my favourite recipe from our new book, Recipes for Happiness. Thanks, kimchi. Massive thanks to everyone who's bought it. There's a whole section on fermentation if you're interested. Fermentastic, we call it. Yeah. Book reached #1 in Ireland the last 3 weeks, and it was number 8 in the UK. So, thank you to anyone who bought it. Yeah, and thanks for watching this video. If you know anyone that's interested in fermentation, send it to them. Please share. And sending loads of kimchi love. Cheers. Bye.